Hey guys, James here from TCG University. Come back at you with another deck profile. Today we're continuing the deck profiles for our Campus Championship Sports Festival series. Today I'm going to be going over my Momo Yaoyorozu deck. I personally really like this character. You can see I got special sleeves for her. I think they're really sick. So I played Momo Yaoyorozu. I built this deck more as like a meme, just to see kind of how it would do. We're playing both Staff Strike and the cool one-check Dropkick Slicer, along with an entire weapon spool of energy. But let's get into her specifically. She's a 6 hand size 26 vitality character with all good in life. Our deck specifically today is built under all because it gives us the most weapon foundations. Her first ability is Enhance, destroy one foundation, build one asset or weapon foundation from your card pool face up. This attack gets +2 or -2 speed. It's very good offensively to give speed and defensively to decrease speed, as well as it keeps cards out of your card pool because we like to stuff things to do cool combos and like to build on offense and defense. Her other ability, which is nuts as well, Enhance, once per turn, remove a foundation to build a weapon card from our discard pile. To add a weapon card from our discard pile to our hand. So this picks up cool attack cards that we need, cool blocks if we need them. It's a very, very strong card. Okay. So first card we're going to talk about is obviously Staff Strike. This is the main reason. This is her main combo, her main ultra. It's a 4 mid for 6, powerful 2 weapon combo with a weapon and foundation. So you have to have a weapon card and then a foundation card in your card pool, which is why moving things with Momo is very prevalent. Her combo enhance is the next 2 weapon cards you play this turn ignore progressive difficulty, meaning you just play them on their base difficulty, which is crazy strong. And then her other ability is for every foundation in your card pool, you draw a card. This is very strong because most of the reason why I said we play the weapon foundations is not only because we get to move them easily, but because when we build them, we can go weapon foundation, play Staff Strike, and instantly draw 2 cards at the cost of just playing the Staff Strike. Whereas if I didn't have any weapon foundations in my hand, I had to play an attack that has weapon on it, and then build my foundation to then try to play the Staff Strike. So we try to mitigate that as much as we can, which is why we're playing all over the other symbols, just because we get more weapon foundation specifically. Like I said, the next thing we're playing is, I have this pile in my hand upside down, for Dropkick Slicer. Dropkick Slicer is the secret rare from the second set Crimson Rampage. It's a 4 high for 5 with weapon, which is the only thing we can worry about. Everything in attack-wise in this deck is weapon. At 10 or less vitality, we get -1 difficulty for this card, making it a 4-drop, which is crazy on top of everything. And then it enhances, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and then add all attacks to your hand, and then burn your opponent for every non-attacking out of those 3 cards. This is very strong for if just having a good poke attack that can either burn your opponent, get some damage put in, or on top of that, if you drew in a whole hand of foundations, you draw attacks for later, then you can just build and still have attacks in your hand, as well as swung at your opponent, which is super, super strong. The other thing with this card, which is very nice, is playing at the end of the chain can both burn your opponent and swing. So like if I have this really long chain and you've ran out of cards to block with, this card's going to deal 5 on top of burning you for 3, which is pretty cool. Next we're talking about Unwavering Slash. We play 8 assets in this game. Only 8 assets in the entire game. We play 8 assets in this deck. We're playing 4 boxes of babies and 4 quick creation. The reason we play that is because this weapon with powerful 2 says we can discard a card to build an asset from our discard pile to our card pool, to our staging area. So boxes full of babies is a really cool card that draws us more cards, gives stats, and quick creation puts foundations or other cards we could like need into our card pool, which lets us do cool Momo things. The other ability is if we have an asset or 2, we get to ready a card and draw a foundation, which is very good when we play this later in the chain and off like Momo or anything else, where we can keep readying our foundations, keep our board stayed up, as well as drawing more cards to have more things we can do. And then, my opinion, one of the better cards in her kit for Create Bowstaff. It's a 4 mid for 4, but the only ability on it is you can add an asset or a weapon foundation from your discard pile to your card pool. This is very cool for creating good moments with your Staff Strike if you need to stuff more cards, or very good at being a cool poke attack because it's only 4 damage and some people just don't like to block very much right now. And so you get to both poke and you get to add a card to your hand, which is very strong, especially when we have a bunch of weapon foundations and cool assets we can play. And then the last card we're playing is create Capture Net. So this card is a 2 low for 4 with combo with a foundation. The combo enhances, we can give it stun 2, and then the other enhances, we get to build a foundation from our card pool face up. One of the other reasons I started playing this one over Binding Cloth Strike. Binding Cloth Strike is the Eraserhead card that says discard a card, draw 2 cards. It's a +1, but the reason I started playing this over the other one is because we do play a lot of non-weapon foundation cards, because we can't have an entire deck of weapon foundations. So when we do play those, sometimes they just get kind of stuck in our card pool. And this is a good way of getting them out. It builds those cards over the weapon cards specifically, because we can always build the weapon cards with Momo. We can't always build the non-weapons outside of playing Capture Net. So I'm playing that for that specific reason. The only other thing I would change in the attack lineup is if you don't want to play the 1-drop, I actually think playing the new cannon from the Momo DLC is a very good choice as well. If I played a less risky deck, I'd probably play that. Onto those assets I was talking about. We're playing 4 Quick Creation. It's a 2-drop, 2 mid-block, Breaker 1 weapon card asset that says Enhance Commit. Add the top cover of discard pile to our card pool to get +2 or -2 damage. So it can reduce damage, can add damage. Really strong card. At Deadlock, we can also double first enhance to double speed or damage, which is also very cool. And then Box Full of Babies. Like I said, it's a commit for +1/+1 to our weapon cards. But it also gives us the ability to, once per turn, draw a card, discard a card. We're not May, so we don't get the second half of that cool ability where we don't have to discard, but whatever. We get to draw a discard, which can be really cool for setting up cool things with Quick Creation, and really cool for removal things with Floating with Babies. We'll get to later. Which was something I was doing where I was trying to fill my card pool specifically to remove 3 to then have the card I want on top with Quick Creation to stuff it in my card pool and have a cool target to move with Momo. So there's a lot of funky things you can do with the cards. Onto the weapon foundation specifically, I want to start with those. We're playing 4 Rising Star. That this is the key to Momo's entire kit. Response after you build it, you get to gain life, which is really cool. But the main one is enhance your attack, flip, build 1 weapon asset or foundation from your card pool to your staging area. Basically, the way this works, the way this is really good, is because sometimes you have to blow up with Momo, and sometimes you just don't want to. Sometimes you want to keep what you have because you don't have a lot, or you want to keep what you have because you haven't had to commit. So, and sometimes just getting to build those cards means you have less progressive if you have to hard play something, and it gives you the ability to just commit more things in general. The next thing we're playing is for Preparing for Battle. It's a Breaker 1/3 low block that just says commit, discard a card, draw a card. This card's, like I said, very cool at fishing out the card pool, as well as just being a weapon. And one of the good low blocks in our deck as well, with Breaker 1, obviously. One of the cool things I was paying attention to with this and Box of Babies, Box of Babies won't work. Never mind. Box of Babies doesn't work with that. But one of the cool things with this is we can play, if we want to, play the new Midoriya card that says when we discard we get to draw. So we get to draw 2 cards off of that, but we have to have it in hand, and it's kind of situational. So depending on how you build your deck, that could also be a cool target for this card as well. And then we are playing 4 Intimidating Presence. This is the Stain Foundation, new from the Crimson Rampage. I really like this card, especially in this deck, specifically because it gives -1 speed to all attacks in the card pool while it's there. So we block with this. It's a nice 2 mid block, or it's a spam we can play, but while it's in the card pool, we give -1 speed. So attack comes in, we give it -1 speed, and then we Momo bring it down to give two more speed reduction, meaning we gave an attack -3 speed for moving 1 card and building 1, which to me is nuts. And then the last weapon foundation, Floating Around My Babies. Enhance, remove the top 3 cards of your deck to give +1 damage to this attack. This is just really good at making sure we can push some damage, as well as fishing around in our discard pile to set things up for things like Quick Creation, and set things up with there's one more card I was thinking of that. It might just be Quick Creation or such. Do all the cool stuff, you know. It has a terrible block, so we'll never use it to block, but still a weapon foundation. We are trying to play this very attack string heavy deck, so we are playing 4 Advice for Winners. Flip after you check a printed 3 to play a card, recheck it. You can only recheck once, but sometimes rechecking once is all you need. Destined for mainstream success. Just being able to try and add extra cards to our hand gives us more options to do things. It's just nice. Has a nice 2 mid block. I might in the future, if I want to play this deck again, I might just change this out for playing. What is it? It's Specialist in Sound, where you get to -3 speed, and if you check it, we get to look at the top card. It's also a good card, kind of flows with the same function as Advice from Winners. So I might try that in the future. Because we blow a bunch of things up for a Precious Lesson. Flip, after one of our foundations is destroyed or removed, we get to build an extra card for face down. Momo already does that for us, so we set this up, blow up with Momo, build an extra card, and we're +1 on stats just for doing Momo's thing. Pretty cool. We're playing a bad check, so we're playing 2 Zoom. Zoom, the only reason we play this card is Zoom says all response after your combat phase begins, reveal the top card of your deck. Lets us know if we're going to check a 1, which is super important if we want to play a foundation first and do combos that way, or if we just want to go ahead and attack. Then we're playing 2 Celebrity Status. Like I said, we do poke sometimes, and this card just allows us to stack one of our momentum to be able to draw it off of our other abilities. So it's pretty nice. This is another card that I would probably just switch out if I was going to play something else. I would probably switch out Zoom in this to play something else, just because Zoom's only needed, in my opinion, in this deck if you're trying to play the 1 check. And Celebrity Status, we don't play enough. We honestly never had enough momentum for Celebrity Status to matter, and Celebrity Status was never on the board when I had momentum enough to matter. So, in my opinion, this is a very interchangeable card, but it's a spam with a nice 2 mid block. And the last card of the deck, It Can't Be Fixed. It's a 1 high block foundation that says flip. After we commit any number of cards to our opponent's effect, we get to build a face down. +1 board state is super nice, especially in a character that just likes to swing around. So just swing back at people. It's a very, very nice, cool card. Prevents stun on our turn. Just really overall good card, and keeping in hand is both very good with Momo because you can build it during the turn for cheap because it's 0, or hold it in hand because it has a nice 1 high block. I think this card will be a very big, strong staple for a very long time. So, I actually recently, outside of the championship, also took this exact deck to my locals this last weekend as of recording, and got 2nd place with it, only losing because I checked a couple of 1s in our game 3. So, like, happens, I play the 1 check. That's the risk of playing the 1 check. Very fun day. Went 2-1, beat a May and beat a Jiro. Lost to a Denki because of the 1 checks. Super, super cool, fun event. But this deck can perform very, very well. Performed pretty well in the Camp Championship as well, outside of checking 1s in the game that it lost as well. So make sure to check out the matches. Make sure to check out the other deck profiles and the other matches in the series. Let us know what you guys think down below. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/TCG University. And as always, guys, stay learned.